So, on today's episode of the Mentality of the New York Knicks, I want to focus in and highlight and basically zoom in on how the Knicks of 2026, in my opinion, is the most dominant run in the playoffs within NBA history, right, in the postseason. And I'm going to highlight and utilize 6 different examples, and it's all going to be full of stats and facts. So, hopefully y'all enjoy it. My first example is going to be how we're 8-2 throughout our 10 games in the playoffs. That 8-2 record has a winning percentage of 800%. And then even more impressive is the 2 losses that we had. Game 2 against Atlanta and Game 3 against Atlanta, it came by a combined 2 points, right? So we lost 1 point in each game. And other than that, we're 8-2 throughout a 10-game sample size in the playoffs with a winning percentage of 800%. My second example is how the Knicks of 2026, we just achieved our longest winning streak in New York Knicks postseason history, which dates back to, I believe, 80 years ago. The 3 teams that we had to pass to get to this point were the 71 Knicks, the 1972 Knicks, and then the Knicks team that I got to watch in 1999 Knicks. The 71 and the 72 Knicks, they both had winning streaks of 5 games in a row in the playoffs. The 1999 Knicks had a winning streak of 6 games in the playoffs. And then the 2026 Knicks, this postseason, we've just achieved the longest winning streak in Knicks franchise history in the playoffs at 7 games in a row, right? And the games that we've won was Game 4 against Atlanta, 114-98. Game 5 against Atlanta, 126-97. And then Game 6 against Atlanta to close them out, 140-89. We swept the Philadelphia 76ers in 4 games with the scores of 137-98, 108-102, 108-94, and then we closed them out by 30 points, 144-114. My third example that I want to highlight is the fact that we have 9 players in our 9-man rotation. Well, Landry Shamet just became officially part of our 10-man rotation, but the top 9 players on our team in the playoffs in this rotation are all in the top 25 in NBA plus minus differential in regards to plus minus leaders, and it reads like this: Jalen Brunson plus 162, Josh Hart plus 145, AJ Mitchell plus 136, Karl Anthony Towns plus 135, OG Anunoby plus 118, Deuce McBride plus 112, Devin Vassell plus 106, Mikal Bridges plus 101, Victor Wembanyama plus 101, Alex Caruso plus 88, Isaiah Hartenstein plus 86, Chet Holmgren plus 82, De'Aaron Fox plus 80, Julian Champagne plus 79, Jordan Clarkson is at plus 77, SGA plus 74, Dylan Harper plus 73, Stephen Castle plus 67, Mitchell Robinson plus 66, Jared Allen plus 55, Cade Cunningham plus 53, Cason Wallace plus 53, Dean Wade plus 51, Jose Alvarado plus 50, and Dante DiVincenzo at plus 45. So if you look at it, the Knicks have 6 players in the top 8 amongst all players in the NBA playoffs in plus minus. Them 6 players that's in the top 8, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Deuce McBride, and Mikal Bridges. Then you've got Jordan Clarkson with a plus minus of plus 77 at 15th. So we literally have 7 players in the top 15, right? And then you've got Mitchell Robinson, who's at 19th at plus 66. So that's 8 players in the top 19. And then last but not least, you've got Jose Alvarado ranked 24th with a plus minus of plus 50. So that means we've got 9 players in the top 25, which is unheard of. I've even went over to, because the 1998 Chicago Bulls is my favorite basketball team of all time, not Knicks related, just basketball in general. I believe that's the greatest basketball team of all time. And I went and looked at the 1998 playoffs and the plus minuses for all of those players of all of those teams, and not even the Chicago Bulls had 9 players, nothing close to it, that was in the top 25. So I think that's more than impressive. I think it's never been seen before to have 9 different players in the top 25. I mean, it's to the point where you've got Jordan Clarkson, who's got a better plus minus, and he's coming off of our bench than SGA. Right? You've got Deuce McBride coming off our bench, ranked 6th amongst the entire NBA. Right? You've got Mitchell Robinson at plus 66 ahead of the likes of Cade Cunningham. Right? That to me, it just speaks volumes to the total dominance that the Knicks have done to both Atlanta and Philadelphia. Now, the fourth example that I want to utilize is the team point differential in this year's playoffs. So we've got the Knicks leading all 6 teams at plus 194, followed by Oklahoma City Thunder plus 133, the San Antonio Spurs at plus 129, the Detroit Pistons only at plus 33, the Boston Celtics at negative 20, the Cleveland Cavaliers negative 12, the Toronto Raptors negative 12, the Houston Rockets negative 15, the Denver Nuggets negative 27, the Orlando Magic negative 33, the Minnesota Timberwolves negative 40, the Los Angeles Lakers negative 49, the Portland Trail Blazers negative 62, the Phoenix Suns negative 69, the Atlanta Hawks, who we absolutely dominated, negative 105, and then the 76ers, who we put 6 feet deep and buried them under the ground at negative 109. So you look at the teams that we could potentially face in the Eastern Conference Finals, like the Knicks are plus minus of plus 194. You've got the Detroit Pistons, they're only at plus 33. And then you've got the Cleveland Cavaliers, which looking like we might play. They're up 3-2 in the series, which would give us home court advantage in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've got a plus minus of negative 12, right? So I think that we run through both Detroit and Cleveland. The fifth example that I want to utilize is the overall net rating when you combine the offensive playoff rating and the defensive playoff rating. The Knicks is by far number 1 overall out of all 16 teams, and it goes like this. The New York Knicks have a net rating of 20.3, Oklahoma City 17.5, San Antonio 13.1, Boston 3.0, Detroit's only at 2.9, Cleveland's only at 1.0, and then the remaining teams are all in the negative. Toronto negative 1.7, Houston negative 2.7, Minnesota negative 3.7, Denver negative 4.6, Orlando negative 4.9, Lakers negative 5.2, Philadelphia negative 10.6, Portland negative 12.9, Atlanta negative 18.1, and then the Phoenix Suns also negative 18.1. The last highlight and the last team statistic that I want to highlight is actually my favorite of them all. It's going to be example number 6 to close out the show. So the biggest plus minus point differentials per game in all-time NBA playoff history, I'm going to name the top 24, and keep in mind 21 of these 24 teams went on to eventually win the NBA championship. The New York Knicks is first all-time in point differential per game at 19.40. The 1971 Milwaukee Bucks is at 14.50. 2017 Golden State Warriors plus 13.52. 2001 Los Angeles Lakers plus 12.75. 1991 Chicago Bulls plus 11.70. 1987 Los Angeles Lakers plus 11.38. 1996 Chicago Bulls plus 10.55. 1986 Boston Celtics 10.33. 1985, the year I was born, Los Angeles Lakers 10.15. 2018 Golden State Warriors plus 10.0. 2014 San Antonio Spurs plus 9.30. 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers plus 8.61. And then we go from 13th to 25. Oklahoma City Thunder last year, 2025, 8.34. 2023 Denver Nuggets 8.05. 2024 Boston Celtics 8.0. 2017 Cleveland Cavaliers plus 7.94. 2015 Golden State Warriors plus 7.80. 2019 Golden State Warriors 7.21. The 2012 Miami Heat 7.08. 1998 Chicago Bulls, the team I was referring to earlier, plus 7.0. 2013 San Antonio Spurs plus 7.0. 1984 Los Angeles Lakers 6.85. 2020 Los Angeles Lakers 6.85. 2013 Miami Heat 6.43. And then the 2004 Detroit Pistons round out the top 25 at 6.39. So when you look at it, hypothetically speaking, right? Which I say theoretically speaking, the 2026 New York Knicks have a plus minus point differential per game of plus 19.40. Second place was the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks at plus 14.50. So that's basically 5 points ahead of any other team. That's a astronomical difference. That's in the same difference. So like I was saying, like theoretically, hypothetically speaking, however you want to word it, in order to find a basketball team on the planet that has ever had a more dominant plus minus point differential per game within basketball history, you'd have to literally date back to the 1992 Dream Team when I was a kid, right? They had 8 games and their point differential, I believe, was at like plus 44, right? There's never been a basketball team in the NBA playoffs who ever had a point differential of plus 19.40 points per game. So that's what I wanted to do, was just highlight these 6 examples: the Knicks record, the winning streak that we're currently on, the playoff plus minus leaders in regards to individual players, the team point differential in the playoffs, the overall net rating when we combine the overall offensive and defensive ratings combined, and then last but not least, the biggest plus minus point differential per game all time within NBA history. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Mentality of the New York Knicks. I'm out.